Hello everybody, I'm Ninjo X, the Enlightened Gamer. Welcome back to a new Enlightened Vlogs. Today, I thought I'd talk about something that was a bit more the pulse of my country, of America. Diet. People are fast to say how big of a problem obesity is, or just an increased sedentary lifestyle and all the other stuff that's associated with it. But people are also quick to say you should do blank to not end up like that. You should blank, or you should blank. Well, the truth is, like I've tried to express with in other vlogs, extremes aren't the answer to the dietary issue. They're the opposite. If you go on a diet where you eat nothing but fruits and vegetables for 4 months and then you eat a piece of cheesecake, then you're just doing more damage to your body than good. The fact is, the truth is that we all already know the truth. We just don't have the discipline or focus to practice that truth. Health, physical well-being is generated by eating some more healthier foods while not too drastically changing your lifestyle, getting exercise, and trying to cut back on snacking. That's what I've done recently, and I know I'm not exactly a skinny person by any stretch of the imagination. Even when I was as healthy as I could be, I still wasn't skinny. Skinny isn't healthy. Skinny is malnourished. But to be healthy, you need to have your diet and your exercise in balance. I still don't exercise as often as I ought to. Mainly because, well, it's physically hard for me to exercise. And that's something that I might elaborate more about at some point if you guys want me to, or in the future. I have severe problems with my left hand and foot that make jogging and other exercises really tough. It's one of the reasons why often in recordings for X or side, I have to pause the game because my hand slides off the controller. And it's why whenever I do this, where is the center of this camera? This, my left hand is always a little bit more tight because I suffer from muscle tension in my left hand and foot. So exercise is a bit tougher, all the more important to get my diet under control. I used to be cheese. I ate cheese all the time. Every single thing I ate, practically, I put cheese in it. I would eat 2 packets of ramen noodles, and I would put 4 slices of cheese on top of it. A little bit of pepper. And while it tasted good, at least in my opinion, it was really, really bad for me. I also drank soda and Gatorade all the time. Well, Ninja, is this your New Year's resolution? No, it's not. I don't believe that New Year's resolutions work. I'm 100% convinced that they don't. Except on extremely rare circumstances. It's far easier to just make a pledge. To just say, you know, I'm not going to drink any more soda or Gatorade. I'm not going to snack except at parties. And I don't go to parties very often, so that's like what? Once or twice a month if I'm lucky. Just try to cut back. Balance of body, balance of mind, balance of just balance is incredibly important. And a lot of people will discount it because one side of the plate or one side of the field looks more attractive. But you don't want to do that. You want to stay physically healthy if it matters to you. if your physical health doesn't matter, you don't care if you live to be 90 years old and still have your mind, or you don't care if you get diabetes. If that's not part of you, what makes you happy, then don't do it. Ultimately, it's your body, and it's going to be your choice whether or not it lasts. I was making a choice to do nothing, to not worry about it, to be calm and composed, to focus on my mind while my body withered. Because my body was already in a state that I thought was beyond repair. But just by altering my diet in that tiny way that I mentioned earlier, I don't drink soda anymore, I don't drink Gatorade anymore, I've cut way back on dairy, I don't snack anymore. Just by doing that, even if I have 12 sandwiches in a day, I've already started to feel considerably better, and people have told me that I've started to lose weight. But the truth behind most things is that the extremes aren't the answer. It's neither black or white that is correct, but it's somewhere in the gray. And the hardest question for dietary issues is that people aren't like machines. People aren't like programs. If I give one person a cartridge of Banjo-Kazooie and another person a cartridge of Banjo-Kazooie and a third person a signed cartridge of Banjo-Kazooie, when they put those cartridges of Banjo-Kazooie in their machine, they're still all going to be playing the exact same game. And though they're unique, their experiences will be uniquely their own, it's still the same game. Same rules, same code, carbon copies of each other. People are not carbon copies. We're incredibly different. And what works for one person might not work for another person. If you retain body weight worse than I do, have a really slow metabolism, then just cutting out snacking and cutting back on dairy probably won't be enough to get you to a, quote, healthy norm. Don't worry about getting to that point. Just worry about getting to the point where you're happy and you're healthy. I will never have ideal physical health ever again because of the problems with my left hand and foot. But to just get close, I think, is enough. And if you guys are listening to me, the point of me talking to you about this is to say that I'm human. I am mortal. I have been weak and I have been strong. I'm chasing my dream now. I'm working on the computer full time. I'm running a full-time Let's Play channel. I get to talk to you guys about whatever I feel like I want to talk to you guys about. And I can talk to you about ways to better yourself, to better your mind. When it comes to physical health, I've always had second best physical health. Even when I was in high school, when I weightlifted 2, 3, 4 times every single day, I still was never the strongest or most fit person in the school. But when it comes to mental health, I consider myself somewhat of an expert. Mental and physical health, though, both hinge on the same things. Balance. For mental health, for every second you think positively, you also want to think negatively. You don't want one side to overwhelm the other. You want to balance it out. You want to say, well, today I'm going to think about... For me, I think about my video games. That's a source of inspiration for me. So one day I might say, you know, I'm going to look at the anatomy of the yucca. Because they've always just seemed really weird to me, and it never really made any sense to me that they existed. Or another day I might say, you know what? All these people have been talking about these sim games, these Goat Simulator, this I Am Bread, which personally I find I Am Bread hilarious, even though I would never play it, unless I was requested. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to look and see what the fuss is. Other times, I'll hear somebody say something really negative, and I'll look and I'll see if I can find a silver lining, see if I can find positive in it. Or I'll just hear somebody gushing on and on and on about something. Well, Ninja, what does this have to do with diet? Everything. This is mental diet. Your physical diet is regulated by what you consume and what you exert. Your mental diet is also regulated by what you consume and what you exert. If you consume good thoughts and you think actively, then your mental diet will be crisp, clean, and good. And if you exert your mind to find answers that other people haven't found, your mental health will improve. Does that mean you're going to be a genius tomorrow? Probably not. Does that mean you're going to be an idiot tomorrow? Also probably not. The fact is, some people are born with more mental capacity or more physical capacity than others. But we can all maximize what we have. Take the consoles of old. Take the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. Especially those two consoles. Super Nintendo wasn't as powerful as the Sega Genesis in almost any category. But the games, with the exception of the Sonic games, there's no comparison. Because the Super Nintendo always optimized itself. Every game on it, with very few exceptions, was built to exceed the parameters of what it was running on. Also take the contrast, the Virtual Boy. The Virtual Boy was pretty much a waste of space. There were a couple of decent games for it. I enjoyed the Wario Land for the Virtual Boy and the Mario Tennis for it. But it never came close to fulfilling the virtual part of its namesake. I'm just going to put these on. These are my damaged glasses. Yay. And it just really disappointed a lot of fans. While the Super Nintendo always exceeded its parameters. And then the Nintendo 64 followed up and did the same thing. What is your mind and what is your body going to be? Are you going to be a Game Boy that runs Wii titles, or are you going to be a Wii that runs Game Boy titles? Just because your brain is the proverbial Virtual Boy or your body is the proverbial Game Boy Pocket doesn't mean you can't have great software, great titles, great experiences. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. Because odds are, you're not dumb and you already know what you should and shouldn't be doing. And whether you do or don't do it is a question of choice. But whatever you choose, I hope that next time, as always, you will choose to stay enlightened.